Okay, a quick video to show you how to use your graphical calculator to find standard deviation and variance and a whole bunch of other things. I'm going to go through two examples. The first is just where I've got a list of raw data, and the second is where I've got a frequency table. Okay, just to note, both of these are one variable. So here I don't know what the thing is varying. It could be the number of pens in your pencil case, but it's one variable. Okay, it's just given as a list as raw data. So, I mean, it looks like one variable. This one, often people mistake as two variables, but it's not, because this is frequency, and that is not a variable, it's just a count of how many of these I have. So if I was to write this as raw data, I'd write 317 times, I'd write 421 times, so it'd be a long list, but it could be a list just like this one. Okay, so that's the first thing to say. These are both, we're working with raw data. One variable. All right, so start with the calculator off. So turn it on, and my screen comes up like that, but we press menu, and we're going to go into statistics. This should get you to your lists. For the first one, the raw data, I'm going to delete everything in this list all in one go. Delete all, yes please. I'm just going to type the data in. 8, 7, 1, 6, 2, 4, 18 and 3. All right, make sure that there's nothing else in that list, because sometimes that's where you can go wrong, if there's previous data that you haven't deleted. Now list 2, you might feel good if you just delete that, but you don't have to, okay, because we're going to set up the calculator so that it ignores list 2. So I want to do some calculations, so I press F2, which is calc, and I'm going to set up. I'm going to basically sort out the settings on my calculator. So if I've got one variable, I only care about the first two lines here. We will do two variables later, and then we'll have to set up the other ones. But here I want to tell my calculator that my variable is in list 1 and that the frequency is 1. I've got one of each of these numbers that I've typed in. Okay, it's this line that will change when we come to do a frequency table, but for now we want it like this. So it's 1, that's fine. Then I wanted to do some calculations with one variable. And here is where I get my list of everything. So I've got x bar, which is the mean, the sum of all of them, that's the total of that, sum of all of them squared. Here's my standard deviation, 5.0358, blah, blah, blah. So there's my standard deviation. I'll write that down. 5, 8, yada, yada, yada. And to get the variance, I need to square that number. So my variance of x is just that number squared. And do be careful to use the full value. This is where it's handy to have another calculator that you just, like a nice simple calculator that you just type it into. Okay, so it's just that number squared, and then I always round both answers to 3 significant figures. Square this before you round it to get this answer. So only ever round kind of the answer that you're giving as an answer. Try not to round in calculations along the way. Okay, if you scroll down, you can get other things too, like the minimum, lower quartile, median, upper quartile, maximum. So these would be your 5-point data summary if you were drawing a box plot. Then you've got the mode as well. And here, because we've got one of each, look, we've got multiple modes. Every single one of these numbers is the mode. Okay. All right, so how will this change if we've got frequency table? So frequency table, I want to put my variables in the first list. So this could be, I don't know, the number of days a week that you get a good night's sleep or something. Okay, and this here is not measuring a new variable, it's just saying how many of those we have. So let's say 17 people sleep well for 3 nights a week. 9 people sleep well for 7 nights a week. Okay, so it's just good to be clear of that in your own mind, that this is the count. Okay, so I've got list 1, list 2. Now when I go to my setup, Still got my variable in list 1. I need to change my frequency. Well, it's not all 1 this time. They're all different, and you can find what they are in list 2. So there we go. That's set up. 1 variable, and then I get my list again. So again, mean 4.47. Does that seem right? I mean, the mean should be somewhere at least between 3 and 7, probably in the middle. This seems reasonable. 4.48, 4.5-ish. Yeah, that seems right. And the standard deviation is 1.30. Yeah, nothing's varying more away from the mean than, so say the mean is about 4.5-ish. Really, I should use 3 significant figures, but just for ease of understanding. Nothing's varying below that more than 1.5. Nothing's varying above that more than 2.5. So the average variation from the mean, or the standard deviation from the mean, is 1.30. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that is a reasonable value. So my standard deviation is 1.30, and then I'd square that long number to get my variance and then round it. Okay, just a little kind of recap of how to do that on your calculator.